What's going on, everybody? This is another episode of Trade with Travis. This is the August 16th episode. I hope everybody's doing very well on this Tuesday morning. I do apologize for not being around to be able to take a look at what ended up happening on Monday, but had some other stuff that I had to be able to do. So hopefully you end up staying in the trades that we ended up placing in last week. You would have been in a great position. We're going to talk about some more trades as we end up going through. See if there's other examples of being able to get in. There's actually a trade that I'm in right now. Getting kind of worried about seeing how it's actually reacting, but it's in consolidation. So I caught it on the breakout of the consolidation. So hopefully it keeps on pushing, or I just go ahead and take a quick loss. But let's go ahead and get started. I'm not a CTA, so I'm not going to tell you whether to buy or to sell. What I'm going to do is teach you education, and from the education, you can be able to make your own informed decision. I understand that forex trading involves risk. It involves risk of being able to make money. Also involves risk of being able to lose money. So please keep that in mind. And understand that past performance is not indicative of future results, which means that if you end up making money yesterday, it's not promised that you're going to end up making money today. So with that being said, as we go through and take a look at all these charts, take a look at everything else like that, we always go by taking a look at what's happening with the big three, taking a look at what's happening with the economic calendar, getting an idea about what's going on with those things, because that'll kind of allow us to be able to understand what's happening with the market overall. And also, if you like what we end up doing along the way, make sure you end up clicking on that boost button. Make sure that you end up sharing with people. And obviously, if you want to be able to take a look at a little bit more information of what we end up doing, all you have to do is just go to this link right here. I'm going to end up showing this on the screen for a brief second, and you can be able to and see what we end up doing from everyday basis. We end up doing webinars each and every day. So there you go. We can be able to go through and be able to place that on. But economic calendar is going to take a look and see what's happening today. Is Tuesday. We end up having climate count from the pound actually end up being worse than expected. Unemployment rate was actually on par with what was expected. The Bank of Canada ended up having a consumer price index that was actually lower than expected, with a 6.1 compared to the 6.7 that was actually put out as a consensus. And then a little bit later on today, we're going to end up having a monetary policy statement and interest rate decisions when it comes down to the New Zealand dollar. So we have to keep that in mind as we go through and take a look at certain opportunities when it comes down to those individual pairs, as we end up taking a look at different examples. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and go and take a look at what's happening with the big three. If you're not familiar with what is the big three is the United States dollar index. And we end up taking a look at oil. We end up taking a look at gold. We'll start off with the United States dollar index. From a weekly perspective, we've been talking about how this market has been up in a channel. It's above the B, so that means that the market is still considered to be bullish. So we are looking at buy trades when it comes down to that overall movement. But just taking a look at what's happening from an overall standpoint of where the market is. Right now, currently, if we're just being honest about the actual position, I would say the market is more bullish overall when you're looking at it from a weekly perspective. When you look at it from a daily perspective, we can see that this market has fell down to the support of this channel and started to push up. It seems like it almost has broken a counter trend line break, and yes, it has. It has broken a counter trend line break today, which means that overall this market would be considered to be bullish. And if you would like to be able to take a trade from it from a buying perspective, I will go back to the 2 hour and see if you can be able to get a low price to be able to look at a counter trend line break and be able to go from there. Because we truly do have a counter trend line break. We have a breakout. Remember, typically when there's a breakout, that we end up being a retest. Currently, right now, we're in that retest phase. So we just need to look and see what that retest is going to end up forming. And then after that, trade it from there. When it comes down to that overall move. So United States dollar index, United States dollar pairs, I do expect that they're probably going to end up being bullish, but I do expect that at least at the beginning portions of today, you will see some of those trades probably be retracing more than anything else before being able to make this overall move. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at when it comes down to United States dollar. Take a look at what's happening with oil. We see what's happening with oil. Oil is, from a weekly perspective, still pushing to the downside. We talked about the extension that was expected to be hit at 88. What was it? 86.35. I believe that ended up getting hit probably earlier today, if not yesterday. Yeah, there we go. No, 86.81. It didn't hit 86.35. So we're very close, but we haven't hit it yet. But that is enough to where it would complete the 5% rule when it comes down to that movement. So I would say that the market has hit its overall position, has hit its point, and now we can kind of move forward when it comes down to that movement overall and kind of go from there. So oil is in a R5 position. We're looking at it. It can continue. It can probably continue going down based off of the daily, all the way down to $63 a barrel. But I think that the market will have to retrace a little bit first before actually being able to make that move. So there we go with that. Gold is still pretty much in consolidation, so I'm not necessarily going to end up having a lot of great things to be able to say for it being able to enter. I end up talking about people that end up buying it at the support and trying to be able to buy it all the way up to 1872. Currently, right now, we can see that the market is really starting to retrace a little bit, so it might end up being one of those situations where you might just go have to bite the bullet when it comes down to move. Speaking of biting the bullet, I end up taking a trade on. US 30, let's go and let's talk about the plan that we end up having before. Hopefully you end up getting in when the market end up having that breakout that we end up expecting when the market was at 33,592. It ended up making that move. You end up getting into that move. That was about a 300-point move to the upside that we end up talking about. That was something that we end up having on the TradingView ideas page. If you're not familiar with that, I'm going to end up showing a page. I'm going to show an example of what you can be able to see. Example of what we end up doing inside of our live sessions, especially when there's people actually here being able to take a look at most of them. But I think we end up having a pending buy order right here. The entry was at 33,305, stop loss 33,140, and then the take profit was at 34,310. Currently, right now, market's already in that movement. We're solidly in profit. For the people that have not taken their profit out yet, I would look at being able to take a portion of the profit, not necessarily all of it. Some people may be out of the trade, actually looking to be able to get back in. I know what I ended up doing personally when it came down to this trade was that end up making that move. I seen that it popped up to take profit one, which was our 3,400 move that we ended up talking about. Once it ended up hitting that, end up getting out, started to see this large consolidation based off of the 15-minute. I placed the order in at 36,970. That ended up getting triggered when it ended up hitting the resistance. And then currently right now, if we take a look at what's happening for that move, we can see that buyers are actually starting to push this back up. We are down on the trade currently right now, but as long as the market ends up breaking out of this consolidation to the upside, then I'd be cool with it to be able to ride it all the way up and be able to complete the rest of this move when it comes down to that. Now, if it breaks below the point of control at 33,921, then I would consider going ahead and exiting and taking a loss on the move and basically re-entering again, because my stop loss is below the actual support, but I don't know if it's gonna truly make its move like that to the upside, especially after going on Monday and being able to have a 300-point move. We're not necessarily in a area when it comes down to months that we typically see like that big explosive move, small consolidation for half of a day and a big explosive move from there. We typically just don't see that at this portion of the month. Now, if it was October or November, if it was early January or somewhere around there, then I would expect that, and I'd just go ahead and just let it rock. But we'll see how it kind of reacts. I keep my eye on that one. But in a buy on Dow Jones, the people that already hit take profit one when the market ended up hitting 39. If you had your trap profit points on, you probably would have got taken out already. And you're just waiting for the next trade on this one. So I'm just going to be patient, see what happens, and kind of go from there. Just like anything else, that's the only thing that you can be able to do is just be patient and allow the market to be able to make this move. From there, let's go ahead and talk about NAS 100. NAS 100. We end up getting into a trade with a buy stop entry at 13,360 with a stop loss of 13,210. We had two take profits, 13,600 and 13,860. This one ended up going to 13,600, ended up hitting take profit from there, and since then the market has fell off. I actually ended up taking profit on both of my pairs and just getting out of them. The first one ended up hitting 13,600, and the other one I ended up getting out right around at 13,634, just because I seen that the market was falling, and obviously we fell down into this little low volume node right here. So it looks like the market will end up trying to possibly starting to find support at 13,550, and I didn't want to give up too much when it came down to that move. So it didn't make any sense to keep on staying in that pair if the market was just going to end up turning around. But profit, nevertheless, that's all we end up asking for when it comes down to these movements. We are looking at an explosive movement. We've seen consolidation, and since then we've seen the market started to push down. And legitimately, once again, with this overall trading strategy, that's what you typically see. You end up seeing a built up amount of consolidation. Once you end up having that built up amount of consolidation, then you end up having a free run based off of when it breaks out of that high volume node. And then from there, it will consolidate again. And then whatever direction that it ends up going based off of that consolidation, then you have to be able to adjust. And if you're already in a pair and you already done made profit, then there's no reason to sit up there and give it away when it comes down to a movement like that. So hopefully that ends up making sense. And then once again, that's all the more reason why this market ends up breaking to this downside on this overall move. I probably just get out and I look at re-entering because the market may just not be ready yet. The last time we ended up having a move where we end up popping up 600 to 700 points, it took 3 days. The previous time before that, it took 6 days. And so that is the portion of how we end up taking this trade. We just got to be a little bit more patient to be able to watch the move kind of play itself out, and then after that, we got to pounce when the market is ready to be able to make a move. So there we go. That is US 30. That is US 30 when we end up taking that move. I'm out on US 30. We take a look at what's happening with DAX. DAX ended up hitting take profit one when it came down to this movement, but the second trade ended up falling all the way out to the stop loss. So it actually ended up giving an opportunity that if you did not get into the trade the first time, you could have re-entered back at the same position. And then after that, actually would have hit both of the take profit zones because it ended up blowing past that 860 area when it came down to full profit. So for the people that end up doing that, congratulations on that. For the people that end up re-entering, basically you end up doubling up on that move. But currently, right now, we're taking a look at what we have this kind of in the near future, and start to zoom out a little bit more. Let me take these numbers off. If we take a look at that and we just kind of go back and kind of look at where we are when it comes down to that point. Right now, we're entering a very large high volume node. And it wasn't surprising that sellers started to get into the market when it came down to this point because this is really the true base where the largest portion of consolidation actually is. You look at all of this when it came down to certain areas um, based off of from March all the way to June. So with that large consolidation being there, it makes it to where we're probably not going to see a lot of great opportunities on German 40 when it comes down to the movement. So we'll just monitor it, see what happens when it comes down to the movement. But I don't expect that we're going to end up taking, especially a buy trade, at least not yet, to be able to get all the way up into that zone anymore. We got the profit that we needed. We're done with the overall move. Currently, right now, there's really nothing to be able to do. So we're going to stay away from German 40 for a while and then see how the market kind of reacts from there. But for the people that end up making profit on that one, once again, congratulations on that one as well. All three trades end up playing themselves out. We just have to be a little bit patient on the way that we end up taking those trades and being able to make a move. Now, this would be a great time to be able to talk about one thing that I've been working on. Um, the style of trading that I've been talking to everyone about, and I mean, I think for the most part, people have been going in and taking a look at all of the different trading plans that we have been seeing and talking about how we can be able to take advantage of the three phases of the market. Um, we talked about being able to place this on automation and being able to see how could this be ran through automation when it came down to certain movements and everything else. Well, this is the Euro United States dollar. We could see a large consolidation when it came down to this move. We could see that the market truly broke out to the upside real quick. Once it ended up breaking out to the upside, it ended up building a consolidation. Then after that, started to fall down from there. Fell right back inside of this high volume consolidation and fell and made this a natural support. Now, what does that mean when it comes down to trading? When it comes down to trading, overall, if you're just looking at this point from 102 all the way down to 101, there's really no great opportunities to be able to get into this trade overall unless you're looking at the high volume nodes and trying to take a look at the low volume nodes and taking advantage of those overall pairs. Well, we're going through the beta of being able to get the automation system to be able to work off of this. And I'm kind of excited to be able to show what this actually looks like. I'm going to be very brief on the way that I end up showing this and getting this out the way. Get that out the way, get that out the way, get that out the way. Oh, nope. Okay, never mind. Um, there's got to be a way I can be able to. Okay. But we take a look at that screen. Hold on, maybe I can switch my screen. Maybe that might work. Oh, there we go. See if it's not. Okay, so essentially what we've been working on is being able to show this or being able to work through this EA. I have it set up based off of the 5 minute, but everything that we end up talking about for us being able to get in for its spotting out consolidation, being able to make a move when the market ends up breaking into a low volume node and everything else is comprised inside of this EA. Uh, it currently right now still going through the beta phase of it, obviously, but um, and what it's doing is looking at the volume when it comes down to the certain amount of dates that you end up placing in. It's going based off of real volume. It looks at the consolidation. If there's consolidation that's built up inside of a high volume node, then it will place in a pending order on the at the top and the bottom of that overall move, and then after that, it will take a trade based off of that movement. Now, once the market, that's strategy one. Strategy two is you end up taking a look at the high volume nodes and they'll automatically place in trades when it comes down to the pocket. Essentially, end up working on this when we started this on Monday for its being able to see what it looked like from a back testing perspective because there's still a lot of work that has to be done with it. But overall, done seen a little bit of success when it came down to that. Currently, it's up 20% when it comes down to the movement. I'm going to show you every trade that it ended up taking over the course of the last 2 days. And you can be able to see that some of them were $7 winners, some of them were $100 winners. We end up having $800 and $750 winner. Some of these don't have take profits when it comes down to the positions yet, and that's something that we have to be able to work on overall. But the trail stop is a thing that works that does very well when it comes down to this movement, and because this is based off of percentage when it comes down to your overall entry, it allows you to be able to put yourself into a better position when it comes down to that movement. So super excited for everyone that is going to end up having an opportunity to be able to use this. Like I said, we're still going through the beta phase of it. So I mean, well, we're still going through the tweaking phase of it, but overall, I am super excited for everyone that will end up having an opportunity to be able to use this. And if you want to get your hands on it or be one of the first people to get your hands on it, please just go ahead and just message me. We end up talking about it a little bit later on. You can go to that link that I end up showing at the beginning to where you can be able to get more information. So as we get out of here, I want to talk about US 30 again because I think that's the only active trade that I have currently right now at this point. Market has broken out of the consolidation, which is a good thing. And we'll see if we can be able to see this thing kind of continue and finish off on this move. There's about 300 points that are left in this overall position. I'm kind of mad. Yeah, I'm kind of mad about yesterday. On one of my accounts, I ended up getting into the trade, but because I wasn't able to look at the computer all yesterday, when it came down to its movements, I ended up having a trail stop at 35 points. It ended up making a big push to the upside right here. At that particular point, let's see. At that particular point, I think I was up 130 points, and I couldn't, or 160 points, and I did not look at what ended up happening based off of that move from there, just because I wasn't in front of the computer. But my trail stop kicked in, and it took me out at 33,704. And if you notice, when it ended up hitting 33,704, it ended up basically retracing and then rocket shipping back up, and then hitting take profit one. So. Um, Sometimes you end up having those trades to where if you know that you're not going to be able to look at it, you have to be able to place in a trail stop, and the trail stop is built to be able to allow it to be able to manage while you're not necessarily looking at it, and you have to live with that sometimes. But we missed out on a lot of profit when it came down to that second trade, when it came down to that movement overall. But like I end up saying at the end of the day, profit is profit. That's the only thing that we end up caring about in this business. If you're not winning, then quite frankly, your emotions are going to end up being more to the downside anyway. So if you do win, you can't sit up there and be mad about how much you end up winning. You just know that you won. And sometimes it's very hard to win in this business when it comes down to trading, unless you end up having a proven strategy and know how to be able to work off of it and kind of go from there. And I think we then got to a point overall when it comes down to every course that we end up teaching that these are proven strategies to be able to work, and we know which one to be able to use and what type of season of the market that you have to be able to trade with and everything else. So I'm super excited for everyone that is going through that phase. So like always, if you like what we end up doing, click on that boost button. For the people that are going to end up watching this a little bit later on live, thank you for being able to watch it. Like always, plan your trade your plan. I'll see everybody in the next video. Take it easy.